Welcome to Learn Psych Online. Today we be looking at Is the Brain in Psi 102. This video is sponsored by a great man called Gently. He is going for the post of Sug 004 Atua. He is the great person for the post. Please canvass and vote for him. Now let's drive into today's topic.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Well, not a good day. I don't know when you'll be listening to this voice note. My name is Abraham Mansa, Psychology Department from AU at 300 level. So I'll be using you guys' notes to explain the brain. With the definition you guys are giving, they said the brain is one of the subordinates. Okay, let me just talk about the brain generally. The brain is it carries 80% of the activities that is done in the body. So the central nervous system is of two. We have the spinal cord and we have the brain, but the brain does the major work, lots of the works, 80% of the works is the brain that carries them out. The spinal cord is majorly based on the motor movement, that's just the movement of the body. So when you talk of the feelings, the cognition, perception, and the likes, so it's the brain that does all the works. So that's just that about the brain. And the parts of the brain. So we have the forebrain, we have the midbrain, and we have the hindbrain. So under the forebrain, we have some structures. We have the thalamus, we have the hypothalamus, and the limbic system. So let me just explain one after the other. So the thalamus, he said that this structure looks like an egg tray, and it is found in each of the two hemispheres of the brain. So it's if you can download the picture of the brain, it will help you in understanding it. There is the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere in the brain. So the thalamus is found in both left and right sides of the brain in the head. So it says that the basic function of the thalamus is that it helps to relay information or signals. So it helps to pass or to understand informations. Then the hypothalamus, the person that gave you guys this definition as help in explaining it well. The hypo, it means below. It shows that if you can get the picture of the brain, it will really help you in understanding it. So the hypothalamus is just below, it's just under the thalamus. It's under the thalamus, and it is responsible for regulating biological or psychological means such as hunger, taste, sexual, and the likes. So the hypothalamus, it deals with our basic needs of survival. I don't know if they've taught you guys. Okay, this I don't know. Maybe you guys did anything pertaining to Abraham Maslow's theory. So the hypothalamus is the one that regulates our survival needs. It's the one that regulates our survival needs. Probably for you to be hungry, for you to be thirsty, and the likes. It's the work of the hypothalamus. So that's for that. And for the limbic system has two important structures, namely amygdala and hippocampus. So the amygdala is major work is to regulate pain. So it helps us to for the pains that we have to feel to just be normal. Probably when you are angry, it helps in regulating that kind of pain that ought to occur within us. And hippocampus is responsible for memory. The hippocampus determines how if your hippocampus is okay, then you should be able to store information accurately. So it's just determining under the hippocampus, that's where you found the long-term memory, the short-term memory, and everything pertaining to memory. That's what the hippocampus does. So Okay, they talk about hormone that is called dopamine. That is called dopamine. So they said low level of dopamine has been associated, linked to disease called Parkins. That should be Parkinson disease. So it's just trying to say that if a person's dopamine is low, then the person may likely have the disease called Parkinson disease. I don't know if you've heard it before. So that's just the structures under the forebrain. So then the midbrain. Okay, before I proceed, we have the forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. The forebrain, the middle brain, and probably the last part of the brain or the back of the brain. So if you can get the picture, it will help you in understanding it very well. If you have the understanding, you'll be able to write very well, even in your exam. So you're know that the forebrain, let's just probably say forward or front. So it will help you to know that that's the front of the brain. Then the midbrain, the middle, the hind, that's the back side of the brain. So we've talked about the forebrain and the structures that are found under the forebrain. Now let's talk about the midbrain. So the midbrain here we have tecton, then we have okay, let's just explain them. Okay, I think they just gave you guys all together. I think they don't really separate it, or maybe probably the person that I'm using his or her notes does not separate it. So let me just proceed in explaining. So we have the reticular formation, which regulates the sleep and mood. It regulates the sleep and arousal. So it regulates the sleep and arousal. Okay, on that hindbrain now, they said this is located at the back side of the brain. It has 3 sides. Medulla, then this structure connects the brain and the spinal cord together. The basic function of the medulla is that it regulates some unconscious function of the body system, such as sneezing and the likes. So it's just saying that the medulla regulates our unconscious activities, the unconscious functions of the body. So it shows that probably if when you sneezing is not an action that you perform consciously, is unconscious. Or probably you are going and you mistakenly hit your foot on the ground. So it's the medulla that receives the information and tells your body how to adjust. Those kind of functions that your body carry out, they are unconscious. Or probably you saw a snake, so the fear that comes within you, they are unconscious. So they are just some unconscious activities or behaviors that we exhibit. So the medulla is the one that regulates those structures, those functions rather. So we have the pawn, and they said this structure also controls sleep and wakefulness. So I think that one is straightforward. We have the cerebrum that deals with, I don't know what this person wrote. I think it should be mood and balances. So it should be mood and balances. So it deals with your mood and it helps in regulating us so that we'll be stable. One will not be too happy, neither be too sad. So it deals with our mood and balance. I'm trying to be so fast because I don't want the record to be too long. So then we have the cerebrum. Then they said this is the larger part of the brain. The cerebrum is divided into 2 hemispheres, namely the right and the left hemisphere. I think I said this the other time, that the thalamus is found in both hemispheres, both right and the left hemisphere. So the cerebrum is actually the larger part of the brain. If you can get the picture of the brain, so you'll be able to understand which one is the cerebrum. If you can get it, then it will really help you a lot. It will really help a lot. So then the major thing is just that the cerebrum is just the larger part of the brain and is divided into two, both left and right. The two hemispheres are connected by a structure called corpus. So cerebrum is divided into four. We have the frontal lobes, parietal lobes, temporal lobes, and occipital lobe. So under the frontal lobes, they said the structure is responsible for motor information. So motor information is movements. Probably you're walking, standing, stuff like that, dancing, or anything pertaining to you moving your body. So that's the frontal lobes. That's the part of the cerebrum. The frontal lobe is the one that deals with the motor movement. Then the parietal lobes, the structure controls some sensory information. That the parietal lobes deals with the informations that come from the somatosensory. So the somatosensory is just the body in the messages that we receive from our sense organs, the eyes, the nose, the skin, and the likes. So the parental lobes is the one that deals with the messages or the informations that we receive. So then the temporal lobes, they said this structure regulates auditory information. So it deals with hearing. The temporal lobes deals with the hearing, while the occipital lobes deals with the visual information. That's the things we see, how we see. So I think these are just brief explanation on the brain. Probably as you guys continue in psychology, there will still be more explanation on each of these things, and you'll be able to understand the brain more. But for the level that you guys, I think this is just enough for this level. So as you proceed, they will still be explaining more. They'll still be digging deep in explanation of the brain. So just try and get the picture of the brain, the picture, and the labeling. Also make sure that they label it alongside with it, so that you'll be able to understand it and try to understand their functions. So that's just the brief explanation I can give pertaining to the brain. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you for watching to the end. And thank you for watching to the end. I hope you like. Please subscribe, share to your friends, share with your friend that need this. Hey, be a brother's keeper. Be your brother's keeper. Share, like. Please do me a favor and subscribe too. Please share, like, and comment and subscribe. If you have any question, comment it on the comment section, and I'll take note of it immediately. Thanks so much. I really love you guys. Bye.